and I declared a minor in chemistry. I'm now a senior. I took the MCAT about a month ago. I did okay, but not well enough to apply to medical school. So I'm thinking about going the physician assistant route instead, because I was just telling her that I do have the, I don't know if any of you guys are thinking about physician assistant, but I have the like clinical hours from being a CNA, which a lot of people don't have that. So I've actually worked as a CNA ever since I started at college. And I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but this program is a very pivotal thing in your life. So like I have a lot of friends that are in the same major as I am, and they don't even know what they want to do because they never got an opportunity like this. And I like hate that they didn't get that, because like I've known what I wanted to do ever since I was a freshman. That saves you time and it saves you money. And I cannot describe to you the ways that working as a certified nursing assistant has helped me grow, not just like professionally, but also in my personal life. When I was a freshman in college, I was very much like, I would not stand up for myself. Like if anything happened at work, like I would avoid conflict. I would have never been able to speak in front of a room full of people. So that's another thing, like I've grown a lot with that, but like that job really helps you grow. It teaches you to not have biases about people. It teaches you to deal with some very tough things. It's very taxing emotionally. So when you guys start that stuff, like it's gonna be very nerve-wracking and it's gonna be very scary, but you guys are gonna do amazing. And it is also that job, being a CNA, has also been very humbling. I know sometimes people can, you know, have stigmas and say, well, you know, you guys do the job that nobody wants to do. That's not true. The work that you guys are gonna do is absolutely amazing, and you are taking care of people that can no longer take care of themselves. And I want you guys to understand that like getting started early like this is very pivotal and it's very significant, and you guys are gonna grow a lot. I know you guys are probably thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna have time to work in college. You will. Like I was pre-med and I worked 2 days a week. And it was manageable. Like, yeah, I had to make sacrifices sometimes. You're probably thinking I'm not gonna have a social life. You will. It's okay. Don't worry. Like you guys are gonna have time. So when I started, I actually did my clinicals at Glen Oaks, and it's a Trilogy facility. I don't know if you guys know that, but so in Muncie, I work at Morrison Woods Health Campus. It's a sister campus to Glen Oaks, so it's about the same. It's very similar, and I'm not sure where I was going with that. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. So when I first started there, when I was a freshman, I waited a couple months to like before I applied to work there, just to like just not overwhelm myself, because like when you do first go to college, like it can be very overwhelming, and it's a very big adjustment time. You know, you're away from home, no one's telling you what to do, no one's keeping tabs on you. Like that can be very hard sometimes, like, you know, and you always have, it's gonna be a big adjustment, so do not worry, like you guys are gonna be okay. It's just gonna be kind of hard at first. But I finally started in November, and I was part-time, so I had to work 2 days a week and every other weekend. So that was okay, but I started realizing I was working too much. Like even 2 days a week and every other weekend, like it was a lot with my classes. So I told them like, hey, I can't be working this much. Like I know that I love this job, but school is really important to me. They didn't listen, and they won't, because these nursing homes are very short-staffed. And when I say this, like this is serious. Like they are paying a lot of money for people to pick up shifts right now because of how short-staffed we are. And when I say this, they're going to overwork you. I'm sorry, but they don't care that you're in school. Like they really don't. Like they may act like they do, but they don't. And when I tell you that you are your only advocate, I am not kidding, because I had to quit. I quit my job because they were overworking me, and school is important to me. And sometimes like they care about you, but like they just need people to fill those spots. I mean, they have people that need to be taken care of, and if you say that you can work, like they're gonna put you to work. Like I'm not kidding you. So I had to quit because school was more important. But then I went back to the job. So I told them, I was like, hey, I know I left you guys, and you know, I was also a really hard worker, so thankfully they took me back, because they probably wouldn't just let anyone come back. But I came back and I was like, hey, I'm in school, I need to be PRN. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's more like as needed. So like I've worked PRN for 2 years, so I just make my own schedule. So which is like incredible, because when you work part-time too, or even full-time, I don't even know how people do that, you have to work like certain days. Like I had set days I had to go to work, and I had to work holidays. That's another thing they don't tell you. You'll have to work holidays. So I would really try to get like PRN or seasonal. And when you get your interview at a place like that, if you do like end up graduating and applying wherever you guys go to school, make sure that you tell them that you guys are students, because that way you just tell them up front, you're like, you know, I'm a student, like I'm working towards this, I really want to work for you guys, but this is what I need. And you know, that's okay to tell them in an interview. And do not feel bad like putting your own health first. Like I work about 2 days a week, but sometimes I don't work at all during the week, because sometimes I just need like that time away. Because when I tell you that this job is emotionally taxing, I am not lying. Like you guys, it's going to be very mentally exhausting, but like I said, it's going to help you grow. And when I was in your guys' shoes, I didn't realize how important all of this was. Like you guys are getting an opportunity that some kids at other schools don't even get. And you guys should be really, really grateful for that. And Mrs. Talbot and our other teacher, I don't know her name, but they absolutely move mountains for you guys. So, you know, just being really grateful for them, and just really taking advantage of this. Another thing I want to stress the importance of is when you guys do go do your clinicals, you guys need to make sure that you are like taking initiative, because there's going to be times when you guys don't have things to do. Like they won't have things to do for you, even in hospital when you guys shadow or like whatever. Because sometimes, like I was in the afternoon class, so I didn't get to do a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like there isn't much to do in that time, because like I mean we had a meal in the afternoon, but like I work day shift now and we're just go. So you guys will get a lot of experience, which is really good. Not that the afternoon class didn't, but it was just a different time, so they shouldn't have like as much for us to do. But Mrs. Talbot really taught me when I was in this class, like, you need to take initiative. Show them that you want to be there, and show them that you want to work. If they don't have anything for you to do, just be like, hey, is there anything I can do? Whether it's sorting through papers or, you know, cleaning things. I mean, there's things they're gonna, you know, if you're shadowing in a clinic or a doctor's office or whatever, or even at the nursing home, like, you know, if they're just kind of like, oh, there's nothing to do right now, just be like, is there something I can do? Because that will show that you want to be there and you care. Because we've had workers hired at my work, and they like are seriously so lazy. And I'm like, how did you guys get hired? Like, people's lives are in your hands and you're just being lazy. Like, yes, we see it. People that are older than me. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, clearly you were not taught well. So just make sure that you guys are really like, you know, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? Because that is going to show, and that is going to stick out to them. So just make sure that you guys are really taking initiative. There was something else I was gonna say, but I can't remember. Yeah, because like I said, that's just gonna show, and it is manageable. I promise it is, so you guys will totally be fine. Yeah, does anyone have any questions, or like any questions about college? Like I said, I'm a senior, so definitely have some insight. I know I just kind of went on a tangent, but does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
Did you always know you wanted to go pre-med?
So I wanted to be a PA first. So when I was in this program, I was like, oh yeah, I think it'd be really cool to be a PA. But I didn't know I wanted to do pre-med until I watched the C-section. So my mom is labor and delivery nurse, so thankfully she kind of got me in with that. I watched like a couple ortho surgeries, and I didn't really like them, but I really did like watching the C-section. So that's what made me want to be pre-med, and I've been pre-med ever since I was a freshman. So if any of you guys are pre-med, pre-PA, they're basically the same prereqs. They're not the same when you go into your field, but they're the same prereqs almost. So if you guys do have any questions about that, I can answer those. Yeah, so I didn't always know I wanted to, but this program helped me figure that out. And if you guys don't know what you want to do not worry, because you have time. Like my advisor, amazing. She would, like, if you don't know what you want to do when you go to college, they'll just give you a bunch of, like, core classes that you have to take. So, like, English, I had to take finance, I had to take psych and social, things like that. You can do those, like, in your first semesters because you don't start getting into your, like, important classes until later. So, like, when I was a sophomore, I took, like, Organic Chemistry 1, my fall semester, I took Organic Chemistry 2, I took genetics, which is a biology class. I took cell biology. I took anatomy. So like I didn't start getting into those until I was a sophomore. But when I was a freshman, I just took some general bio and chem classes. So like if you guys don't know what you want to do not worry. Also, the shadowing that you guys are going to do is very, very important because sometimes you may think that you want to like do something, you're like, oh, I want to be a nurse, but until you see what they do, you really like do not have any clue. Like you may think you know, but like I even was like, oh, I want to be a PA. I shadowed some ortho PAs at Forest Ridge. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but and I did not like it. Like there's different types of PAs too. So like they have surgical PAs. PAs can specialize. It's physician assistant. If you guys don't know what that is, but so like. Definitely take advantage of shadowing because that is going to show you this is what I like, this is what I don't like. So when you're not, you know, you don't get in your junior year and you're like, well, I don't want to be a nurse. Like, because I have friends that are like that. They were like, well, I did nursing, but I ended up not liking it. So there they go, just wasted 2 years of their time and their money. Like, college is not cheap. Like, I will not play with you. It is not. So yeah, and they like didn't know because they never shadowed. So like when you guys are in like I don't know how you guys do it now. When I did it, we did clinical like CNA stuff in the fall, and then in the spring we did like going through rotations in the hospital. Is that how it is for you guys, or what are you guys doing? Do you guys know? If not, it's okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. Are you guys seniors then? You guys seniors and juniors?
Yeah. Majority of us are juniors.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, oh yeah.
I believe that like the CNAs will do like all their fall stuff, get their CNA in like December, and then next semester we'll start doing the career exploration.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it is the same. Also, oh, I'm so glad you said that. This is another thing that I was gonna say. I'm sorry, I'm like going off on a tangent right now. Even if you don't want to do nursing, I would still get your CNA because things can change. And like I said, I didn't want to do nursing, but I still became a CNA because people don't realize, but like that is one of like, I'm not trying to like diss the job. It's not like a low job. Obviously the work you do as a CNA is amazing. It shows you what it's like to be at the bottom before you get to the top, if that makes sense. You know, it humbles you. It really does. Like, I'm not just saying that. And also, like, I didn't want to do nursing, but I still did CNA because it's experience. Like, some of my friends, like, you will learn things even from the nurses. Like, sometimes you'll just start picking up on things like blood pressure, things like that. Not even taking them, but just recognizing, like, I know what to do if someone has low blood pressure now. Like, one time I was out and, like, someone passed out because their blood pressure was low, and I knew what to do because I learned that, like, just working. And, like, also, this is another thing I was gonna say, sorry, when you guys are doing your clinicals, even after you graduate and you, like, actually decide to work as a CNA, you guys are the eyes and ears of the residents. Because a lot of the nurses are very busy and they don't always have time. I mean, you guys are going to be spending a lot of time with these residents, and you're going to see like skin tears. You know, if I work 5 days in a row, I'm going to notice a spot on their back that wasn't there 2 days ago. Like, you guys are the residents' advocates. That is very important because I work in a memory care facility. So these residents, like, they don't even know, like, what, you know, we got to guide them with their activities of daily living. Like, I have to tell them to brush their teeth 6 times because, like, they forget. So, like, you may think that, like, some people are, like, mentally there, and some will be when you work in healthcare. Like, some people will just go to nursing homes for rehab. I love memory care. I would not trade it for the world. It's definitely a different vibe because you do have to kind of go along with like their behaviors. They have a lot of behaviors. And like I said, it is very emotionally taxing, but you are their eyes and their ears. And please do not be afraid to stand up and tell a nurse like, hey, you're gonna realize like this resident isn't acting right. Like, you know, they're off. Like I've been around them for 5 days and you know, day 5, they're acting kind of weird. Do not be afraid to tell them because there's gonna be some people that are gonna make you feel like what you say isn't important. But I promise you it is. And like there's been times where like sometimes, you know, the nurses don't always listen to me because they're just kind of like, oh, they're fine, or like the nurses are above me. Like I understand that, like I get it, but like sometimes they're not gonna listen, and it's really gonna tick you off. Like I'm serious, but you do not let that discourage you from telling them like, hey, you know, they're acting super weird, and they'll probably just take their vitals. I'm sorry, but someone's vitals could be perfect, and something could still be wrong with them. And I'm like, just because their vitals are fine does not mean they're fine. But I know the nurses have the final say. So like you said, sometimes you just gotta let it be. If they say it's okay, it probably is. But like one time, I took care of a resident and he had a huge fall, like while I was in the room. Like I'm not kidding you, and I was like freaking out. He like busted his head open, like it was blood everywhere. I'd never had someone fall on me while we were in the bathroom. And I put the call light on, and they came in there. And the nurse came in, and the other CNA that I was working with came in, because normally you'll have 2 of you guys, so thankfully you won't just be like on your own, depending on how many residents there are. But they came in, I'm freaking out, I'm crying, I like froze. That's another thing Miss Talbot taught us, is with your sympathetic nervous system, you have a fight or flight response. And so, you know, sometimes you're gonna freak and you're gonna be like, I do not know what to do, like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. And other times you'll take initiative. When I was like a freshman, I would have never been able to do CPR. Like if someone, you know, coded, had a seizure, because those things happen. Like I've never had to do CPR, thankfully, but those things can seriously happen. People can have seizures. We've had people throw up blood before, like something seriously wrong. That's a huge thing. So, you know, you're gonna be like, oh, I'll never do this, so do mine. So be ready for that. But the fall was really bad. Sorry, back to that. The fall was really bad. The nurse came in. Finally the bleeding was controlled. They got it under control. I was vomiting. And we didn't send him out to the hospital. And I was like, I mean, he hit his head, like, because these residents don't have, like, really reflexes. So, like, when they fall, like, all their weight. Like, sometimes, like, we try to catch ourselves and fall, like, no. He fell, and he, like, hit his head. And I was telling the nurse, I was just like, are you not gonna send him to the hospital? Like, what if he has, like, a brain bleed or something? I mean, he hit his head hard. And he goes, well, the doctor said if the bleeding's controlled, then we don't have to send him out. And I was like, all right, I guess. Like, those kinds of things. Like, they're gonna make you, these nurses sometimes, not saying anything bad about nurses, but sometimes, since they have the upper hand, they're gonna make you feel like your words and your actions are not important. And that is not true. And don't ever let that discourage you from telling them that something's up with a resident. Because I have some residents, they don't have any family members come see them. Sometimes you are their family member. And that really hits home for a lot of people. And you will see that sometimes you are the only person that is looking out for them. Because, like I said, sometimes they don't have family members. So don't ever be afraid to tell them, to tell the nurses and whoever's above you, even if it's the most minor thing, because you are probably right. Like, I'm serious. Like, there's been times where I'm like, this resident's not good. Obviously, the decline is part of them getting older and things like that. So sometimes they'll say like I'll be like, oh, this person passed out in the bathroom. Well, they have this kind of cancer. I'm like, just because they have cancer, or like just because they're like a DNR, like doesn't mean their life isn't important. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff really bothers me too. Like I said, there's only so much you can do, but definitely, like, if you think something's up, please tell them. And
I think you're going to find that your better nurses are going to be people that were CNAs before they were nurses. and that don't forget where they came from, and they respect your, as a nurse, your CNAs can make or break your patient care because they are the eyes and ears. And so if a CNA ever asked me when I was working clinically, can you help me clean up a patient, or can you help me toilet them, turn them over, or whatever, I always said yes. But you will find a lot of nurses will say, go get another CNA. If they're standing there and they're not doing something active at that moment and they can't do that, then I don't think they're worth their weight in quality care, because nobody's above that at any given time. I don't care if you go and you get your doctorate in something, you are helping somebody in one of the most personal times of their life, and you're seeing everything out there, and they're maybe in pain, they may be in hospice care and in the process of dying, and you are privileged to be at the bedside. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and she's not wrong. Like, there's nurses where they'll let the call light go off for like 30 minutes because they think that they're above doing that kind of work, and I think that's BS. Pardon my language, but it is. Because they, like, you know, you're a nurse. Like, my mom's an RN, and she still has to, like, take, you know, she has to do that kind of work sometimes, and, like, they're not above that, and no, there's gonna be people that are gonna act like that, and you're just gonna have to, like, you know, you can ask for help. That's another thing. Like, I would have never used a Hoyer lift, like, when I first started, like, by myself. Like, there's literally no way. Like, I was like, no, like, someone's gonna fall. But I would definitely ask for help, and do not be afraid to ask the nurses for help. I have a lot of really good nurses at my work. We have a few that are really lazy, and they just, so many things that make me so mad. But, I do have a lot of really good nurses at my work. Please don't be afraid to ask for help. Also, communication is a huge thing. Like, even just telling your your fellow CNA that you're working with that day, hey, this is what I did, this is how the resident is. Especially when you give a report, like, I know you probably don't understand that either, but when you trade shifts, you give a report to the person coming on to review. So when you do that, you make sure you tell them everything. Even if it's just something minor, like, hey, this resident wasn't feeling great today, they were acting a little weird, a little off, you know, just watch that for me, you know, things like that.
In your 3 years of working as a CNA, how many deaths have you had?
A lot, but I'm not always there when the deaths happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've had to do postmortem care like 3 or 4 times,
Mhm.
not very much at all. And when I was getting my certification, my program, I never had to do it once, because that's just how it was sometimes. It's not, I know that can seem scary to have to do that on someone. It's not, like, it's really not.
So, kind of switching gears, this week is Go College Week. Hopefully you guys have applied. If not, hopefully you get that done this weekend. When did you apply for college? Did you already tell them that?
No.
Do you remember?
I gotta think back for a
Did you
second.
do it in the fall of your senior year?
I think so. I think I was like on top of it because I literally applied to like 13 schools.
Do you know when you found out that you were accepted and that you also decided that Ball State was where you were going to go?
Yeah, so that was like closer, I think it was closer to the winter,
Okay.
maybe. So, sorry, did you?
I was gonna ask you a similar question.
Okay, yeah. So, I will tell you, there's another thing. I really wanted to go to Trine University. For some reason, I was like dead set on that because this is what I wanted to do PA. I was like super dead set, like whatever. I wanted to get directly admitted into their program after my undergrad. Like I wanted to like apply so that way when I did my undergrad, I would already have a spot saved to go into their physician assistant program. Well, I didn't have high enough GPA to apply. Or was it GPA? No, it wasn't GPA. I'm sorry. I didn't get GPA. It was my SAT score was not high enough. I did horrible on the SAT. That was like, test scores do not define your life. I wish someone would have told me that when I was, younger.
How many colleges did you visit?
Like 5. I visited Purdue, Indiana University, Trine, which is in Fort Wayne, Ball State, and I think that's it because those were the ones I was really considering. I honestly knew I wanted to go Ball State from the get-go. For some reason, I felt very at home there. I felt when I visit colleges, please, because you're gonna get a vibe. It sounds weird, but when you visit, and you feel the energy that's there from the professors and how much, I like Ball State because their professors care about their students. I mean, when you go to bigger schools, some professors, you're just a number to them. Like, really, you are. Like, I've been in some classes where my science professors did not give a crap about me. And I've had some other really good professors that were like, hey, I see that you aren't doing too hot on this and this and this. What's going on? You know, and that really stuck out to me. So please visit colleges like soon because
And-
you'll get a vibe.
Who did you room with? Did you go random potluck for a roommate, or did you choose ahead of time?
I joined the Ball State class of 2022 Facebook page when I was a senior in high school, and I was kind of getting on there like, oh, like I'm going to Ball State in the fall of 2018. I'm looking for a roommate. I got so not random per se, but it wasn't someone I knew.
And how was that?
It was actually really good. It was good. I didn't live with her after that because I can only handle so much with certain people. Like, you're gonna realize that. I mean, we were in a dorm room, smaller than this room. Yeah, we're like stuck at each other's butts 24/7. You don't have privacy. Like,
And were their study habits different than yours, or what was it
Oh,
that
yeah.
didn't?
oh yeah, she
Okay.
was pre-dental, I was pre-med. I took my major way more seriously than she did. She ended up changing to business for second semester. Yeah, right. I'm like, business, okay. No, I know business can be hard, but like, I just went to the library because.
Are you a neat freak? Or you
No,
was she a neat freak or anything?
not really. I mean, we kept our dorm room clean. I'm not like a type A personality, like this has to be this and this and this way. Now, I do like certain.
Night person or
Yeah,
day
sure.
person? Were you guys opposite on that?
I'm a night person, but like at night, I would spend my time studying and she wouldn't. So that was very like, it was so annoying because I couldn't focus in the room. I'm, if you don't like a roommate or like, it's not that I didn't like my roommate, it's just that we had different like priorities, but you also, people don't realize like you're literally living in a confined space with someone for what, 8, 9 months, like whatever, however long the semester is or whatever, like that is gonna be hard for anyone, you know, you guys are gonna have disagreements with your roommate. You're
Did
gonna-
she use your stuff or take any of your food or do any things like that?
No, we were pretty good friends. Like I would do anything for her. You know, I loved her. We definitely did have some differences. And sorry, I'll get to your question now. Okay. Yeah, like I would just go to the library, or because like I was studying. I was pre-med. Like I had to bust my butt. She didn't. Like she was up late doing certain things and whatever. And like, oh my gosh, she was so judgmental sometimes. And no, I'm serious. Like, I would feel very judged sometimes. We have little petty arguments. You're gonna have those with anybody. I don't care if you live with your bestest friend that you grew up with. I don't care if you meet someone totally random and live with them. Either way, y'all are gonna have issues because you're living together in a really confined space for a very long period of time. So please go out and do things. I joined the tennis club. I went to the library. I went to the rec to work out. Sometimes I wouldn't even go back to the room because I was just like, I don't want to go back there tonight. Like, I just was like, I don't want to be around her right now because she's negative and I can't deal with that. So I like lived at the library my first like 2 years of college. It's quiet. At Ball State, they have a first, second, third, and fourth floor. The fourth floor is the quietest. It's dead silent up there. I would go up there, I'd bring all my stuff, and I would stay up there for sometimes 8 hours. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, and that was really helpful going to the library. So they also have in the dorms, they have some study rooms that you can, like little lounges, utilize those because sometimes people don't. And I did Accelerate program, which was a little summer program, like right before the beginning of school started at Ball State, and I met some really amazing people that were living in my dorm. I would recommend summer programs to anyone. It wasn't even super expensive. It was super fun. We got to move in early, but we had to help people move in on moving day, which kind of sucked. But yeah. So but I would utilize the study lounges. Please go to the library. All those things. Yeah. Did you have a question?
You kind of answered it a little bit, but Ball State's a big option for me because my mom works there and it's like really big discount for kids. If any of your guys' parents work there and you don't know, it's like 90% off. So that's like a really big option. My brother went and he actually dropped out because his roommate was like making him miserable and he just felt like there wasn't any other option. And then of course it has like the track record of being like a party school, you know, it's kind of on. So like, what do you think of all, like, is that a big distraction, especially when you're trying to, you know, take be a medical student?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that. That is really a question. I do party, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, obviously, I'm not encouraging that. Let's just say, because, like, when I was in high school, I didn't really do those kinds of things. Like, I don't know how you guys are, but, like, I did not. I was, like, school, sports, National Honor Society, this, like, I was just, like, not looking at anything. But when I went to college, I was like, oh yeah, no one's telling me what to do. And you're, and you're gonna feel like that. Like, I'm really gonna be just, like, honest with you guys. Now, I got my homework done before I went out. Like, that, it can be a distraction at first. I definitely, like, when you go to college, it is going to be, like, everything other than your schoolwork distracting you. Like, it'll literally feel like just things are happening and going on. You're gonna have FOMO and this and that, and like, oh, I could be doing this or this, not my schoolwork. Like, there will always be something more fun and better to do, and sometimes you have to.
You guys all know what FOMO is, right?
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
And it's real, let me tell you. Like, it is a thing. So it can be a distraction. You guys have to discipline yourselves. If you don't get 8 hours of sleep at night and you gotta wake up at an 8 a.m., that's on you. Like, I'm not gonna go out if I got stuff to do in the morning or things like that. You guys need to make sure that if you are going to parties or whatever, please be safe, because I promise you, like I said, no one's telling you what to do. And like, that can, for some people, that can ruin their entire life. Like, you can get into things that are not good for you. You can, do whatever you want at school. Please just be safe.
I know of a young man this last summer, and he's probably in jail right now, that drank and ran through the cones at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then ran into the back of a state trooper. And the state trooper was unconscious and on a ventilator. I don't know if he survived or not, but an extremely intelligent person that had done very well in his MCATs was going to go to med school, and now he's facing, if the officer died, then he'll face manslaughter. So make good decisions, good choices. And all of you, until you're 21, should not be taking of any alcohol substances. And you need to make sure that anything you do is legal, okay? And your studies should always come first. And then when you are of age and can drink, do not ever take a drink from anyone else that you didn't make yourself or see it made. Okay, but that's not till you're 21.
Yeah, so what she was saying, please don't drink and drive, because if you hurt someone, you're getting in trouble. And like, if I ever got arrested or anything like that on my record, I would have never been able to apply to med school or anything.
Because it asks me every time I renew my nursing license, have you been convicted of
Yes.
a felony and or misdemeanor other than a park or a driving violation? So DWI, DUI, public intox, those would all be things that would be very, very bad to have on your record.
Now they have like university police, in a lot, like I'm not trying to like encourage partying, obviously you guys are gonna blow off some steam, and that's totally fine. It is a distraction at first.
They can go blow up a balloon.
Yeah, just please be safe and get your homework done before you go out, just maybe leave it for the weekend, like, hey, I'm gonna go out one night this week, like, blow off some steam, be safe, hang out with your friends. I will say that you guys are gonna think your lives are gonna look a certain way, and that's gonna change, because I thought that my experience was gonna look a certain way, and you're gonna see what other people are doing, and you're gonna be like, well, they get to go out. I mean, my friend changed a business and she got to go out constantly. I didn't. Like, you're gonna have to make sacrifices, and it would just be like a learning experience.
My friends that were L.Ed majors, they made me sick.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they would make posters and stuff, and that was or glue popsicle sticks and do projects
I'm like,
and
do you have
stuff.
homework? And she's like, oh no, I didn't. And I'm like,
It's hard, it's busy work, but it wasn't anatomy, so.
exactly, yeah.
Ellen, you had a question?
Yeah, so it's kind of like offset of what we were talking about, but we're talking about the schools you applied to, it was kind of a variety of different schools. How did you know, like, what schools you wanted to apply to? Because I know I'm kind of like stuck in the middle of like, there's all these options, and I know
Yeah.
at this point, like what?
So, I guess it was just kind of like hearsay, cause I had some people that graduated from my high school that like really loved IU, really loved Purdue. Out of state, I didn't because it was really expensive. Also, like apply to what has like your programs. So like, Ball State obviously has nursing, Purdue does.
You're gonna have to sit down and do some research, probably on your own, and look at things, because most of you are probably not gonna have that time to go in and meet with your counselor. And they're gonna say, you need to get your college application in. If you qualify for a free and or reduced lunches, then you can qualify for applications to schools, and then also testing. But it's going to take some time on your own, and you need to see what the cost is. You need to look at what exams are required, GREs, MCATs, and NCLEX, and what the passage rates are, and how things are for averages for those schools, what the environment's like there, the population, and then how much it costs as well, and distance from home. All those things are going to be important things for you.
Yes, also, I applied because of cost. That was even, I'm glad you brought that up. Ball State, it is still expensive, you know, I've had to pull out some loans, I'm not gonna lie, but like, compared to like IU and things like that, you know, and the nice thing is too, it's like pretty close to home. That's not why I chose it. But like now looking back, like I'm really glad that I did, because like I can come back and do things like this, you know, I can go see my mom on the weekends. Another thing, if you're like, well, you know, I'm not having a great experience at college, but you're going home every weekend, maybe just stay on the weekends. And like, I had a lot of people say like, you know, I'm not having a great time at college. Well, that's because you associate it with, oh, I have to do schoolwork all week long, and then you go home on the weekends. It's gonna push you out of your comfort zone. At first, you may not meet anyone. You're gonna, you know, the people I live with now, they were in my major. And that's another thing, like, just maybe stay there a few weekends, you know, see what it's like outside of your classes, have a little fun, because it's gonna be your home away from home. You know, I'm not telling you don't go
They
home.
call it the suitcase college, or at least they used to, where kids would just get their suitcase and come home every weekend. And I went to Ball State, and I did it initially, and then I got to where I didn't ever want to come home. I just stayed up there. Especially once we got a house and I lived off campus. I liked having my house.
I live in a house now, and it's really fun.
Most places you have to, as freshmen, you have to live in the dorm at least your freshman year. So even if your campus doesn't require it, I would suggest you do. And you'll see things by the elevator that says this is varsity something, whatever, or be a part of this and that. You don't have to choose all those things, but try to do a few things. Step outside your comfort zone. That's where exciting things in life happen. And I don't mean bad things or illegal things, okay? Because there's plenty of that on college campuses. And a notorious time for people to do bad decision making is spring break, even while you're still in high school, and definitely when you're in college, because you'll be going with your friends and parents aren't around. You cannot fly in the air by yourself off of balconies, okay? You cannot dive into shallow pools. Don't do any of the, hey, watch this kind of stuff, okay? Because it always ends badly.
Yes.
So give them any questions, because we probably need to get into the labbers or any other points that you want to hear from Caitlin.
Okay, I just have like two more things.
Okay.
When you guys, sorry, I know I'm like talking so much. When you guys do go to college, if you're having trouble, go to the tutoring center. Reach out to your professors. Hey, I don't understand this. Can I please come to your office hours? They are there to help you. Please utilize them. You may think that you don't need help from Learning Center, but you will. All of you will. Those classes are hard. Also, throw yourself into things when you're a freshman. You are not, you know, if you go to school and you don't know anyone there, you're not gonna have any friends at first. And that's okay, but like you need to throw yourself into things, you know. Go through Rush for Greek life if you feel like that's maybe something you want to do. Doesn't mean you have to join. Just go through it. See what it's like. I joined tennis club. Get involved. That's gonna look good on your resume. Build your resume from the ground up. Also, just because your friends are doing things and you're not, that's okay. You know, everyone's path's gonna look different. Things are gonna change, and that's okay. Also, I lost some of my high school friends when I went to college. That was really hard for me, but it's okay. You guys grow apart. You learn to love different things, and that's okay. You know, those friends are there for you in your times of need. Also, research colleges. Do your research. Look up schools. Look up their programs. Look up the prices. Make a table. Do things like that. You know, all of that is going to benefit you. And if one thing I can leave off with, do what is best for you, because you are the only person that is going to look out for yourself there. You don't have your mom there. You don't have your dad there, they're not telling you what to do. You gotta do what's best for you, and sometimes, if that's not what's best for other people, that's okay, cause you are most important to yourself. So that is what I wanna finish on. Yeah, but if you guys don't have any questions.
Any questions, anybody?
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
She said a lot.